philosophy of education in one generation will be the philosophy of government in the next. And it just brought to mind some of the things that are in our schools. So I'm just going to talk about a couple of bills that have come through the last couple of years. One is SB 48, which came through about 2 years ago, and that's the one that promotes the teaching of LGBT, lesbian, gay, bi, lifestyles in a positive light. And this is a mandatory amendment to our curriculum in the state. It must be taught, even if you don't agree with it. There's no opt-out. So there's that. You've got AB 1266, which we just did the referendum petition on, and that is the bathroom bill, as we all know. And that right now is just stuck in court because Deborah Bowen, our Secretary of State, refuses to count all the signatures, and so you've got that kind of pending. And then there's a couple of bills coming up. One is AB 1444, which actually was voted on, I think yesterday, the day before. I didn't have time to research what the vote was. This lowers the age of preschool to 4 years old. Right now, students have to be, mandatory enrollment is 6 years old. So even if you're sending your kid to kindergarten at 5 years old, you actually don't have to until they're 6. The law is until they're 6. We're trying to lower it to 4. That's not mandatory. But then there's another bill, SB 837 lowers the age to 4. AB 1444 makes it mandatory. Okay, so that's the kindergarten. Then there's another one, AB 1719 that's coming up, and this, they want to lengthen the school day. So if you have your kids being forced to enroll in school at an earlier age and having to spend longer school days, how much influence do the parents have at this point? So these things we just need to keep an eye on and make sure that we're being proactive about and making our contacts and stuff. So, if the philosophy of education is these things that I've listed, and I haven't even talked about Common Core state standards, it's something that we need to be aware of and be educated in the truth of and do our part before it's too late and we can't do anything. Just a couple of areas of hope is for Common Core state standards, there's in the testing, you can opt out of the testing if you go to PacificJusticeInstitute.org, I believe it is. And they are, they're an organization, they basically put together these privacy rights, and this helps kids maintain their privacy both physically, having to do with the bathroom bill, and with data collection that will be happening with the Common Core testing, okay? So just making sure that they have their privacy, or doing our best to make sure that their privacy is maintained. Also, if you want to stay kind of on top of what these things are, there's a sign-up sheet in the foyer, and you can sign up for email alerts. California sends one out, CWA of California sends one out every week or so, and they also have a targeted bills list of things that really kind of flag for them on our 7 core issues. And then also, like ready to dance to Stars and Stripes forever. Okay. And then also my personal, it'll get you to my CWA mailing list if you want to. That's on the foyer table. Okay. There's also resources out there. I didn't bring a whole bunch, but there's a handful if you want to grab any of that. Okay. And then in light of just education, I thought of Deuteronomy 6, 4 through 6. So I'm going to read that real quick. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. And these words which I command you today shall be in your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, when you rise up. Sounds like every time, all the time. You shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. And then I'll just kind of segue into family. One of my favorite quotes is Ronald Reagan. It says, "All great change in America begins at the dinner table." And so I love this topic of family and education because it's so they just go together so much. You know, if we are, whether we homeschool or private school or have our kids in the public system, parents still have to engage and be intentional. And so you can see here when they rise up, when they lie down, as they're going in and out of the house, we need to be just saturating them in the word of the Lord. But the only way we can do that is if we know God's word. So just encouraging you all to do that, whether it be with your children or your grandchildren. I know there's more grandparents here than parents, really. Okay, sorry, I think that's related. Should have said this so it didn't reset. Okay, so I guess that's that. So let's just pray for our schools and education. Common Core is it's a nationalized grab at education, which is supposed to be left to the states according to the 10th Amendment of the Constitution, and so it's unconstitutional, and yet really being embraced by so many. And I don't think it's all, all the concepts are necessarily bad. There are some beneficial ideas in there. It's just unfortunate they've tagged it into this big nationalized, what's going to become probably a nationalized curriculum. And if you want any information on that, I'd be happy to talk with you or at least point you in the right direction, but I won't get into it now. Okay, so let's pray.